most men spend their entire lives looking for obvious signs. They wait for clear words, direct signals, or undeniable proof. But the truth is, the strongest sign a woman secretly wants you is usually the one she never says out loud. And if you miss it, you can walk away believing she was never interested, when in reality, she was hoping you would notice something almost nobody talks about. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why this silent sign is so powerful, why most men completely overlook it, and what it reveals about attraction that can change the way you see every interaction from this point forward. Here's something most men don't realize. Attraction is rarely loud. It rarely announces itself. In fact, when a woman genuinely feels drawn to a man, she often becomes more careful, not less. More observant, not more obvious. And that's where so many misunderstandings begin. Think about this. If someone means very little to you, you don't think much about how they see you. You don't replay conversations. You don't wonder whether they noticed something you said. But when someone starts to matter, your attention naturally shifts toward them. Suddenly, their opinions carry weight. Their presence feels different. Their reactions become important. Now here's where it gets interesting. The silent sign. A woman secretly wants you is not constant talking, endless compliments or dramatic gestures. It's investment, quiet investment, the kind that shows up in small moments most men dismiss. Have you ever noticed a woman remembering something you mentioned weeks ago? Maybe it was a random detail, your favorite drink, a goal you're working toward, a story from your childhood, something so minor you forgot you even said it. Yet somehow she remembers. That isn't always attraction, but it is attention. And attention is where attraction often begins. Because people naturally invest mental energy into things they care about. Pay attention to this part. When a woman starts remembering details that seem insignificant, she's revealing something without realizing it. She's showing that your words stayed with her after the conversation ended. And that's important. Because most conversations disappear within hours. Most people forget. But when someone carries pieces of what you said into future interactions, it means your presence remained active in their mind. Now, before you assume every woman who remembers your coffee order secretly wants you, understand the deeper psychology here. The sign isn't the memory itself. It's the pattern. A single moment means little. Repeated investment means everything. She remembers your presentation was this week. She asks how your family member is doing. She brings up a goal you mentioned a month ago. She notices when something changes. She pays attention, not because she has to, because she wants to. And that's a huge difference. Most men are trained to look for action directed toward them. But attraction often starts with attention directed toward them. The actions come later. The attention comes first. Think about the last time you genuinely liked someone. You probably noticed things about them that others missed. You remembered little details. You became curious. You paid attention. Why? Because interest naturally creates focus. The same principle works here. But there's another layer most people never discuss. A woman who secretly wants you often creates opportunities for connection without making it obvious. She doesn't always start deep conversations. Instead, she gives them room to happen. This can look incredibly subtle. She lingers after everyone else leaves. She extends conversations that could have ended earlier. She finds reasons to continue an interaction. Nothing dramatic, nothing impossible to deny, just enough to keep the connection alive. And here's why that matters. People protect their time. Your attention is valuable. Your energy is valuable. Your presence is valuable. When someone repeatedly chooses to spend those things around you, it tells a story words often cannot. Yet many men sabotage themselves because they are looking for certainty. They want guaranteed proof. They want a giant flashing sign. Human psychology doesn't work that way, especially when emotions are involved, especially when vulnerability is involved. Because attraction carries risk. What if the feeling isn't mutual? What if she's misunderstood? What if she's rejected? These questions exist in her mind just as they exist in yours. That's why many signals arrive quietly, not loudly. Now, let me tell you something that might surprise you. Sometimes the strongest sign isn't what she does when she's talking to you. It's what happens when she's not. Confused? Let me explain. Most men focus entirely on direct interaction. But human behavior is often revealed between interactions. A woman who secretly wants you may find reasons to stay connected even when the conversation is over. Maybe she responds more thoughtfully than necessary. Maybe she checks in about something you mentioned. Maybe she remembers unfinished topics and returns to them later. Maybe she notices your absence. And that last one is especially powerful because people notice what matters. If your absence creates a reaction, your presence has value. Read that again mentally. If your absence creates a reaction, your presence has value. Most men overlook this because they're chasing intensity. But attraction is often revealed through consistency, not intensity. Anyone can create a dramatic moment. Consistency is harder to fake. Consistency reveals priorities, and priorities reveal interest. Here's where most men get it wrong. They see one sign and immediately jump to conclusions. Don't do that. Psychologically intelligent people look for clusters, patterns, repeated behaviors, not isolated moments. A woman remembering one thing means little. A woman consistently investing attention over time means much more. A woman smiling once means little. A woman repeatedly seeking interaction means much more. Context matters. Patterns matter. Repetition matters. Now let's talk about something incredibly subtle. Comfort. Because when a woman secretly wants you, she often begins showing parts of herself she doesn't show everyone else. Not because she's trying to impress you, because she feels safe revealing them. Maybe she shares a personal story. Maybe she expresses an opinion she usually keeps private. Maybe she drops the polished version of herself for a moment. These moments are easy to miss, yet they reveal trust. And trust is one of the strongest foundations of attraction. Most men focus only on excitement, but emotional connection often grows through comfort, through familiarity, through understanding, through feeling seen. And here's the fascinating part. The silent sign we're talking about today isn't really one behavior. It's a shift. A shift in how much space you occupy in her attention, thoughts, and emotional awareness. That's why it can be difficult to recognize. You're not looking for a single action. You're noticing a change in investment, a change in focus, a change in energy. And once you understand this, everything starts making sense. Suddenly, those small moments no longer seem random. The remembered details, the continued conversations, the curiosity, the consistency, the comfort, they all point toward the same thing. Interest, not guaranteed romance, not certainty, interest. And that's an important distinction because mature confidence doesn't assume, it observes. Most men either ignore every sign or imagine signs that aren't there. The wiser approach sits in the middle. You notice patterns, you stay grounded, you remain aware, you let behavior reveal truth over time. And this mindset changes everything. Because when you're no longer desperate for immediate answers, you become better at seeing what's actually happening. You stop chasing fantasy, you start recognizing reality, and reality often speaks quietly. That's why the silent sign we're discussing is so powerful. It's easy to miss. Yet once you learn to recognize it, You'll start seeing it everywhere. You'll notice how attention moves, how investment grows, how curiosity develops, how connection deepens. And in a moment, I'm going to reveal the biggest mistake men make when they finally notice these signs. Because that mistake can instantly destroy the very connection they're hoping to build.